Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I welcome you to this section. So though it's rather coming late, but it's better late than not doing it at all. So we need to know where we are, and certainly we are seeing corrections. Like I said, nothing had changed much, except what I want you to focus on. Now we've done like 4 weeks in a row correcting to the downside. This is the first week, the second, and the third, and the fourth week. And we are yet to see, yeah, this looks like it's going to be a major correction to the downside, but then we are yet to see a big correction to the upside within this correction. So you must know that the correction is going to the downside, and in between we are seeing small corrections, to complete the 4-hour structure formations that we expect, but we're yet to see a weekly or daily correction to the upside. Now when that begins to happen, we will know, and if that weekly is going to certainly break above and mark the end of this correction to the downside, we will know, or we're going to have an extension to the downside, a correction to the upside, and then a down to more down to see a more, more downward corrections, we will know. But we are gradually approaching what looks like the end of the first correction. If that will be all that we're going to see, we are gradually approaching the end of that. Before we can have further correction to the downside, we must at least correct big to the upside before we see more downside. We are gradually approaching that. So far, we can see, I usually tell us the candle here last week was like a buy to the upside, and we thought that it was going to, where we expected it was going to end in a doji. It was an armor on the daily, and we thought it was going to go to the upside for a bigger correction, but see what happened almost immediately. This is the weekly candle. Let's go to the daily so that you will see what I'm trying to say. It was going to be like an armor, on the daily of 5 days. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was here. So eventually, in fact, it's even closed. Thursday closed, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Friday closed like this, and we thought it was going to mark the end, and they're going to see a bigger correction to the upside. But according to structure, it failed, and I'm going to show us why it failed. Now, so far, we are seeing the first leg of this correction to the downside, the second leg, which is the B, the A and the B, and we should see what looks like an equal leg from here down to this place, from here down to this place, before we think of, further or a bigger correction or a correction inside this correction to the upside, and we are going to see to what extent that is going to go. So let me bring out my drawing. Now, bringing out my drawing on the daily, this is the daily candle, please. Like I taught us how to see if one has ended, one correction has ended. I want to leave these because we're thinking that we're going to have a double correction here. We thought that we're going to see a 1 and a 2 and a 3, which is an A, B, C, and that this is going to be an X before we see 5, 6, and 7, but that has changed. And one thing is that you can guess or think that is going to happen, but you don't get fixated in that idea that it's going to be a complex correction before price moved. Now, price has shifted and is not a complex correction. It's just a 1, 2, 3 correction, and price broke down. Even the reaction here was going to look, but I will tell you the reason why it is not, and it has changed. So we need to know all of this. And we thought this might just be a W and an X, and we're going to have a Y, but all that has changed to leaving this as a simple flat in the middle, a flat in the middle, an A, and the second which is just a flat. And so this is B. B has ended at this point. So we're going to see C. That is where we're going. We're going to see C. Where C is going to get to is another thing entirely, which we're going to see. Now, let me go inside of a 4-hour for us to do further analysis or a more detailed analysis on this now. Now, this is 4-hour. Let me zoom in, or me zoom out rather, for us to see. Now, the price broke down. We are going to watch the lower limit of the correction to the downside and the upper limit of this correction to the upside will form the lower limit of A and the upper limit of B to get a C. So we must, have that at the back of our mind. This is out, so we can get this out of the way. I'm taking it out. It has outlived its youthfulness. This has outlived its youthfulness. So, and we said the first part, 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and clearly has finished A. So A will not finish at this level, but A will come here because this is part of correction. This is a B and a C of that correction, which is 1, 2, and 3, which is A, B, and a C of that correction. So we can say A is at this level. Now, after this, the first correction to the upside is this, and this one just went a bit outside of it to the downside, and this, so it's more like a regular or extended flat that we are seeing here, and we also don't need this anymore. We don't need that projection anymore. So 4 and 5 is out, and we're not going to see a 5 because it has broken this trend line. So 5 is out of the way. So it's just the 4th is where the price had shifted. So you have to know that. So X is out of the way now. So we have a 1A, B, and a C in the smaller time frame, and we have this. So now, how do I know that this coming to the downside will not form part of the correction? There is this theory that we must know, that in any correction, when you have your A, B, and a C, if you are going to do a further correction on that time frame to the upside, now, the extent of this correction from A to C here, which is the extent here, the X that is coming down should not go beyond 85. Once 85 retracement is taken, then you should know that most likely you are not going to see a complex correction. So that is one thing you must know. What am I saying? Because this correction, A started from this yellow or golden yellow, ended here on the golden. So B came down to the blue and C stalled at the blue. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay, let me just say, okay, at the blue, let me just get this out of the way for clarity's sake. Okay, so we get that out of the way for clarity's sake. And for clarity's sake, let's begin to get this out because we don't need it at all for anything. So what we need is the blue. And I'm still going to see if you don't need this anymore. So what we need now is the blue. So this coming down, the yellow coming down here, this red coming down here is going to actually stall here. This is where it's going to stall now. That is where it's going to stall now. That is where it's going to stall. And this also is going to just come down a bit. So we can still clone this. I'm coming to it. Good, I'm still coming to it. So now this is the move. What we need, that's the correction from this blue to this blue. Now, in relation to this, where the price is on the black, so that you will know that we are also the price has moved. Now, what we expect from here is going to the upside here. If price is going to still correct to the upside, we expect that this ought not to have moved beyond here, 85. So 85 is really at that level. So 85 is at that level. If we are expecting to see more upside, the price coming down here would have stalled here and still move a bit higher up to now give us a complex and a deeper correction to the upside before we break to the downside. But that didn't happen. Price broke 85. So once that is done, you should know that this is a new leg entirely. So it becomes a new leg entirely. According to the Elliott wave, it becomes a new leg once you have done A, B, C, and this now is a new leg. So it is a new leg. And what extension at price giving us, of course, we can't, call that anything anyway, because price got here at about 123, or thereabout. But we know that once the price is at taking 85, which is on the red, then it's a new wave entirely, that is going down. Now, when we saw this reaction, one thing we must know, seeing this reaction again, should have told us once this 85 was breached, it might not be moving all the way up. It might just be like, this is 1, and this is like a 2 of a new move, and we are doing a 3. Now, with that said, does it look like that? Because it's a correction, yeah, there could be some funny truncations. Now, can you see it's about 50? So once it gave us about 50, that is a 2 in that place. So this is a 1 of a new leg, and this is a 2 of a new leg, and this is supposed to be a 3 of a new leg. Because it's going to be a 3 of a new leg, at times when you are seeing this correction, because you can say, oh, maybe this correction is just a 2 of this new leg, which is a 1 here. Let me do something for us to understand what I'm trying to say. A 1. This is a 1 here. And the 2 coming. The 2. Now, when we see this may just be the end of a simple 2, but it could be more complex than that to give us an A, B, C on the 1 hour time frame, an A, B, and a C, but we didn't see that. What again would tell us that that is not going to play out is this. That is not going to play out is this. Now, between here and 2 is correct for 50%, which is like wave 2. Now, if this is still going to correct within A, B, C, D, then this coming down shouldn't go beyond 123, because once B is like 123, it can be an extended flat, and it can still be a running flat. Even once it does not go beyond 161.8, it can still be an extended flat. At 123, we expect a running flat. So it cannot be a regular flat anymore, because it has taken more than 90, 61.8, and is not what looks like what a zigzag. So coming here to see what extension that we have had of this wave 2. Now, of this wave 2, we have broken 161 to the downside of this wave 2. And you see extension of this wave 2. We have broken 123, but broken 161 to the downside. That's why you can't just not just follow any wave in the middle, except you've been opportune to join from the top and you've counted your wave correctly. So we can see that 161.8 is broken. So this is a new wave entirely, which means that these are stopped. This is the end of wave 2 here. So we are currently seeing a wave 3. That is the meaning. We are currently seeing a wave 3. And at least before this one can qualify to be a wave 3, then we should expect that it has to be about 161.8. It has to be about 161.8. So at what level do we expect that 161.8? At what level? Now, we are going to take 1 from 1 to the, from the origin of 1 to the end of 1 to where 2 is on the block. That is what will give us at least, before we can say we have reached the end of 3. From the origin of 1 to where 1 ended, back to where 2 ended. So I'm going to be using black because we are doing black now. So 161.8 of this move should be here. Okay, let me, where the red is, let me use this red and turn it to black. So this is where I expect a 3 at least to get to. So price still looks like it's going to, except it's truncated, it's going to wobble and fumble until it gets to this point. In terms of these wave 1 and wave 2 and what we expect here. So anything between that and 100, so this will look good for a 3, and then we can now have 4 and 5 being truncated. So if anybody is selling this, once you get to this point, you should be out, or anything between 100. So if you want to look out for the 100, let's see where the 100 will be. Let's look out for where the 100 will be. But I should expect that 100 to be broken to the limit of 1 here on the black. Back to 2 here. So the 100 is here. So that is 100 there. I should expect that to be broken, really. We should be expecting what reaction we're going to get there. So, but I should expect that to be broken because this one is difficult to count. The way price is just moving to the downside slowly. It's very difficult to count. Very, very difficult to count. But at least we should expect the price should be around this place. Now, watch what I'm going to do. And that limit, we want to see what reaction we're going to get in between this space now. So we want to see what reaction we're going to get for the 3. We don't know what reaction we're going to get. But going by what these are giving us, going by what this one had given us to see where we are going to probably land for 100, because that is most important, to see 100 first of this move. Okay, that's more like it. We don't, okay, let me just leave that there. I don't need this also anymore. And we don't need this also anymore. So So now that is our projection. That is our projection. So let's see what that projection is going to give us. If I change to the daily for us to see what it's going to give us. Now, changing to the daily, this is where that projection is giving us at that level here. This is what it's giving us. That is what it's giving us at that level. It's better to work with that than say you want to come here because you are doing a 161.8 of this one, you could be truncated. So, but it's better to work with that where we have a blue. So, of course, we know, like I told you, when I was doing this in the fenestrated, that we may be seeing a 1, 2, 3 to finish that triad, a bigger correction. Then if you're going to have a deep correction, we have not even touched, this is 50 and this is 61.8 here of the old move. Then we are taking of this with 5, we are taking 90% of the retracement. So this is where the 90% is. So that tells you we are doing a correction to the downside. So it's not like a wave 2 thing of this entire move here. So this is a new wave, a correction, a bigger correction that we are doing to the downside. Now, this thing is based on knowledge. When you have the knowledge, then you can begin to apply. So we said from here, this is where this thing started from to this point where we now seeing this correction to the downside. This is where 50 is, and this is where 61.88. We expect at least for us to get here. But the way I'm saying it, price may be making a U-turn around this area, and we're going to see the way price is going to react around this area and for upside. And when we are going upside, probably we want to buy at that level to see how far we go and see if we're going to break 81, 85.4 or not. So if we don't break 85.4 before we see another reaction to the downside, then we know that we are going further down to at least probably go beyond the extent of the correction to the upside will signify how deep we are going to go when that happens. So let me go on forward to really find that level where you can think of booking your profits. Let's see that level you can think of booking your profit on a 4-hour. Okay, you know, it's almost on it. Almost on it. So you can put yours like 10 pips, you know, above this level. And that level now that I'm seeing here is 1.04269. So if you do 1.04300 is okay for you. And that's where we want to book. You know, it's better to book. Of course, you know, it could actually do, instead of 100, it can do 123, but you don't want to back on that this one is going to give you 123 to the downside. It could stall at 100, but this is where we expect to stall. You know, if it's going to do 123 to the downside, then what that means is that you're going to see this. So let me go to the daily again to pick that. So if you're going to see 123 of that move to the downside and not 100, it means it's going to be like this. which is from the origin here to where we said A, which is this blue, ended, to where B also ended, which is this blue here on top, which is at that level. So at that level, a 123 is going to be here. So for us to catch a 123, a 123 will now be here at this level. So because I don't expect price there, price may get there, I don't want to bank on that. Price may get there, I don't want to bank on that. But for teaching's sake, we have to just mention that price may still want to do that. Price may still want to do that. Price may still want to do that. So there's a space of how many pips from here to this place is like about 90 pips or 88 pips. It's about 88 pips different. So, but it's better to just get out here. So price is pulling lower than we expect here. Price may be pulling towards this level. That is what we are saying. Price may be pulling towards that level. So, and if price now pulls towards that level, if we're going to have a correction to the upside again from that level, I think this one has done its work. Yes, this one has done its work. It's out of the way. So we need to finish with 3 and see how we're going to see 4 and 5 to end that C. We are on C leg. We'll see what this one is going to give us before we get to this destination. So we are within 100 pips to where we should expect a reaction to the upside. We are within 100 pips. So you are going to look at the time frame, different time frame, to look for the confluence where you're going to have the price confluencing, where the daily agrees with the 4-hourly and the lower time frame, because you can't just say, okay, it's here or it's down here, but on the daily time frame, this is where price has agreed, which you can watch for when you begin to count the structure here to see if it's going to terminate here or not, and watch for reaction to the upside. So if we are going to have reaction to the upside from this level here, if you're not going to break above, we're going to watch for reaction to the upside from that level. In case we are thinking of a complex correction, if we get a reaction here, so we are telling ourselves that if you get a reaction here at this level of price, if you get a reaction at that level, so we should not go beyond 85, and 85 should still come down a bit, which is at this level. So price shouldn't break above here before we see more down. Before we see more down. Before we see more down. But then that's still a long way. That's still a long way. That's still so price coming to about 95, 109,500 now is still a long way to go. So we need to see how this bonds off and terminates. So that is what I want to show us now. So we should be getting to the end of a C of this and to see a deeper pullback on 4-hour time frame And if that deeper pullback is going to break all the way, so we'll see before we think of if we're going to have more downside or not. But so far, this is a corrective mode. This is a corrective mode so far. This is not like wave one and wave two. This is a corrective mode. Because these are pushed within 50 to the upside. From here to here is about 50. And we are seeing that. We are seeing that. So we are still within this wave. We are not done with this wave. We're not done with this wave. And the wave is kind of a wicked wave. Very wicked wave. The way it's coming to the downside, it's wicked and very difficult for anybody to actually count. But I think it will just be burning slowly to the downside, and that's the way it's going to go before we see a potential reaction. All right. So see you next week.